talk for a minute about the things that you see from over processing, because I know that that's a huge problem in this patient
Yes,
population with textured
yes.
hair.
So what can happen is if there's many different ways of overprocessing. So there's actual heat damage. So even if you don't have any chemicals in your hair, when you repeatedly straighten the hair with high heat, that can damage that hair follicle, the hair cuticle, and you can have, breakage, which is a very common complaint. So heat alone can be a source of overprocessing.
Right.
Sometimes people think only chemicals can cause overprocessing, but heat can
Heat.
also
Yeah.
cause
Don't you get
overprocessing.
bubble hair when you heat your
Yeah,
hair too
bubble hair
much?
with
Bubble
that heat.
hair.
Yeah, exactly. And then when we talk about the chemicals, obviously the chemical relaxers for people who are doing these straightening processes should only be applied to the roots, the fresh growth that is unprocessed hair. But inevitably, the relaxer does overlap with the already straightened hair. And if the
Right.
relaxer is done too frequently, or the hair straightening process is done too frequently, or left on for too long, or there's so many different variables that can happen, you can basically degrade the integrity of the hair, and then you see more breakage. So it is really, from a patient perspective and a recommendation perspective, I tell my patients, find the right hairstylist, because
I
that
was
can
just
make
going
or
to
break
ask you
you.
that. How do you
Yes.
find the right person who's really knowledgeable on using these chemicals and these treatments?
Well, interestingly, there is a network. It's called the Strand Network, and it's a network that women who or men who are stylists who really want to understand hair health can come and be trained by dermatologists. And so if you can find, a stylist who's in the Strand Network, that would be great, because you will know at least those
Oh,
stylists have a real interest in understanding hair
right.
health. But other than that, I think it's a little bit intuitive. Like, once you find someone who's good, you just don't
You
leave
stay
that
with them for
person. So it's
life.
like
Yeah.
any other hairstylist.
Oh,
Once you find someone
absolutely.
who's good, you just can't leave. And if one of my favorite quotes is from Dr. Dulova. She's a dermatologist in South Africa, who's the leading dermatologist in hair. And she says, if it hurts, if the hairstyle causes pain, then it's not a good thing. If the
Oh,
braids are too
they're
tight,
too
or
tight.
you have any pain, that is a signal that, if you have to take a Tylenol when you get home from getting your hair done.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I guess they could be that painful if they're
Yeah, it
doing the
can be
treatments
painful.
wrong.
If braids are done too tightly, extensions are done too tightly,
Yeah.
if you put on some type of glued-in product and all of a sudden your scalp is itching and burning,
Yeah,
So
you're
in
allergic to something
general,
in it.
it's pretty much intuitive. You can tell when someone is good. Unfortunately, you have to go through a couple bad ones to find the good ones.
Find the
But
good ones. I kind of wonder about putting the extensions on hair that's already so prone to fragility.
So you bring up a good point. So they've done studies on this. So as far as traction alopecia is concerned, if the hair is in its natural state and it's not straightened, so it's natural virgin hair
Right.
growing out, then that is obviously the strongest, most robust hair. And the rate of traction alopecia increases when the braids are done on chemically processed hair. So you brought up a very good point. We absolutely do not recommend that you do braids or extensions or any type of
Fun.
manipulative process
Okay.
if your hair is chemically straightened, because then the risk of traction alopecia goes up 3, 4, or 5 times more. So on natural virgin hair, it shouldn't be a problem if the person isn't braiding too tight. But if the person, even if they're not braiding too tightly, if your hair is chemically straightened and you do extensions or braids, you significantly increase the risk of traction alopecia.